baby.
Enjoy this great game.
2020 just keeps getting crazier and crazier, and all I talk about are things within not even the sports world. Pretty much I stick to baseball. Man, if I talked about the things going on in the world outside, this has just been the most insane year. And even when I just stick to baseball, it's still nuts. And Tony La Russa, who just got hired as the White Sox manager, and this is not just anybody, this is a Hall of Famer who we all know, who has been around baseball forever, retired as a manager quite some time ago, almost 10 years ago, and he is back with the White Sox. And then we find out he got charged with a DUI the day before he got hired. The day before. How does that happen? Chicago White Sox manager Tony La Russa has been charged with driving under the influence stemming from a February arrest. ESPN's Jeff Passan, Paula Levine, and Charlie come on now, reported Monday. According to court documents obtained by ESPN, La Russa was arrested in Arizona as he allegedly ran his car into a curb near a Phoenix area road. The report also notes that La Russa was charged one day before the White Sox announced him as new manager. So he wasn't actually drinking and driving the day before. He got charged the day before, but the drinking and driving occurred before that in February sometime. So a White Sox spokesperson who spoke to ESPN confirmed that the team was aware of the situation but wouldn't comment further, citing that it was still an active case. So definitely extremely interesting stuff. You know, DUI is not taken lightly and should not be taken lightly. It is a big deal. I'm not saying it's going to cost him his job. I don't think so. I mean, I think he's still going to be manager of the White Sox. It's not looked at as, I don't know if it should be. That's debatable. I'll talk about that. But, it's not considered a cancelable even in 2020 when you get a DUI. But, let's just see here more details from the ESPN report. February 24th, 11:40 p.m., a peace officer responded to a call and found La Russa standing alongside his SUV, according to an affidavit filed by the Arizona Department of Public Safety. La Russa told the officer, who had detected a light odor of alcoholic beverage, that he had been at dinner with his friends from the Los Angeles Angels, for whom he was working as a special advisor. La Russa refused to submit a breath test or provide a sample of his blood or urine to test his blood alcohol level, according to the affidavit, and the officer obtained a search warrant to take 2 tubes of La Russa's blood. This is a common procedure for DUI cases in Arizona, said Michael Munoz, a Phoenix area DUI defense attorney who is not affiliated with the case. He also said it was not uncommon for charges to be filed in cases for several months due to slowdowns caused by coronavirus pandemic. However, other law enforcement sources in Arizona told ESPN the delay seemed excessive. So now to discuss, what do you guys think about it? Because it is interesting, and there are definitely certain things you do wrong in 2020. Just vocally, you just say something that's offensive enough, and I'm not trying to defend anyone who said anything, whether it's the Reds announcer Tom Brenneman, who was pretty much had to quit because he said a homophobic slur on the air. I'm not trying to defend anyone's acts, which are all definitely wrong. It is interesting that, cancel culture will cancel anyone, but DUIs are definitely something you can slide by on. And should it be that way, or should you get in good trouble, at least suspended by MLB? As far as I know, MLB doesn't really come down hard on DUI, and DUI is a very serious, not to say that people don't make mistakes. In fact, people I know, people very close to me, family members, friends, pretty much almost everyone I know has DUIs and multiple. I know people with 3 DUIs in California, and it's insane. Family members, immediate family members. I don't want to say exactly who, but I know immediate family members of mine who have 3 DUIs or more. But I've learned a lot about it, especially legally, and what they have to go through and what kind of punishments they're facing, just trying to help my friends and family out. Of course, at the same time, I don't think that they need to just get off, free and not have to get in any kind of trouble, because that's not any kind of deterrent from, but at the same time, I don't want them to, have their lives destroyed. So I try to help them, but I want them to have to go to the classes and have to get the hopefully that kind of stuff helps, when they have to go to their therapy and their classes and that. I don't know, or it doesn't seem to help the people I know, because they keep getting them. But at the end of the day, it's a terrible thing to do, because you are not only risking your own life, you're risking the lives of innocent people out there on the road, of course, because if you are under the influence, you are not in a condition to be driving a vehicle, which is an extremely dangerous piece of machinery that could absolutely obliterate somebody in a quick second. So if organizations like Major League Baseball are going to come down on people for every wrongdoing, especially when they say things that are offensive, or if it's something like domestic violence, which is absolutely horrible, and if somebody gets in trouble for domestic violence and MLB says we're going to suspend them for that, I'm not against that at all. That's terrible. But DUI, I don't believe there's any policy in place. I recall many players who have gotten DUIs, and obviously, I mean, if MLB has a policy where you have to wait until they're actually being convicted in a court of law and all that, I'm completely okay with that. But as far as I know, any policies they have do barely anything. I mean, there's many players. Cameron Maybin was with the Giants when he got a DUI, nothing happened. And, it's going to be opinion by opinion, but I feel like there should be a policy in place. And I don't think they need to get, I'm not saying they need to get freaking gone from the game. Of course not. Mistakes happen, and people drinking is so widespread and driving is so widespread because you got to get place to place. It's bound to happen. You have like Tony La Russa went to a dinner, had a few drinks, and he had his car there. And it's just like, yes, the responsible thing to do is to get a ride, get your car later. People aren't going to do that, and that's the big problem. And that's why there's so many DUIs from people I know, because most of the people I know drink, and they drive quite a bit, because that's what you got to do. You got to drive. I drive more than anyone I know. I'm always driving, but fortunately, I don't drink, so it's not something I have to worry about. If I did drink, would I drink and drive? I don't feel like I would, but I guess I can't say because I don't drink. Anyway, at the end of the day, Tony La Russa, this is insane. He's got a DUI, and I personally think that MLB should have a policy in place to, if they're going to have a policy in place for other non-baseball related things, you do this wrong, you get in trouble, you do that wrong, you get in trouble, you say this, you get in trouble, you do this offensive thing, you get in trouble, then I think there should be a policy for DUI where you should get a short suspension for a first-time offense. Short suspension, I'm talking 2 weeks, just something to say, hey, we actually care about this. This is a serious offense, and we want to deter people as we can who work for our organization from doing this. It's simple as that. But I'm not trying to vilify Tony La Russa. I mean, I believe he was out to dinner, had a few drinks, and it wasn't a big deal, and he thought he was fine to drive, but he hit a curb, so he probably wasn't fine to drive. It was a mistake, and he's gonna get in trouble for it. First-time DUI is usually not that bad of a punishment. In fact, I know people who have second and third DUIs, and they've never really suffered a huge punishment, very short jail sentences, and they're usually right out because the jails are packed in California anyway, so they don't have to serve very much time. But that's just how it works in California, and it's not much of a deterrent, which is probably why so many people I know have 2, 3, 4 DUIs. And there are, of course, fees, and there are, of course, classes you have to take. I mean, it's not just jail time, but honestly, most people mainly are worried about jail time, I think. So, I mean, just saying, it's a tough thing. But anyway, give me your guys' thoughts down below. I'm not trying to judge anyone, like I said. I know this is something that can happen. I can definitely see it happening. I don't think anyone's a terrible person, but I'm just saying, if MLB wants to be consistent and get on and punish players and coaches and managers for their wrongdoing off the field, well, this is definitely worthy of wrongdoing. It's a serious offense. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I really would appreciate it. Please subscribe to the channel. Hit that thumbs up button. We'll talk to you next time.
When the Giants come to town, it's bye bye baby. Every time the chips are down, it's bye bye baby. History's in the making at Oracle Park.